Hello, everybody. It's Kevin, and this is your vibe of the day. Well, hello. I'm glad to be here. I hope you're glad to be here. And let's get right to today's message. Here we go. All right, so I sifted and I sorted and I pulled and I did all kinds of things this morning. Get myself ready for the day. Incidentally, I'll tell you in a minute about why I'm wearing this t-shirt. So the card that popped up today was about making healthy choices. And I think this reminds me of giving ourselves a tune up. So the prayer goes, "Thank you, angels, for guiding me to make healthy decisions." We see this angel standing on a yoga mat in tree pose. Tree pose is probably one of the most iconic yoga poses that we see people do. It's also one of the most challenging. One leg being supported by the other leg and supporting it at the same time. It's quite interesting. And one that speaks to where we are on or off balance. So what does that even mean? Well, it's important for all of us to have a healthy mind, healthy body, and a healthy spirit. Really and truly, this is a whole thing is an instrument for greatness. And for those of you who are following light work, who are doing light work, who are of sensitivity, kindness, bringing the light in, expending the light out, there's an awful lot of energy that goes along with it. Doing this spiritual work, meditating, readings, particularly, there is an energetic exchange. And oftentimes, those of us who are in conversations with folks who maybe you're in coaching, maybe you're in some kind of therapy, not saying that's what you do for a living, but in those realms, in those circumstances where you are counseling folks or being a shoulder for folks or, helping people lift up, rise up, and try to live a better life. That can be draining. It can get exhausting physically. So every once in a while, we are really being encouraged, especially for today, to be mindful of where our thoughts are. That's a healthy mind. What do your thoughts go to? Do your thoughts go up with gratitude and grace and love in those higher frequencies? Or are they falling below the 7 and 8 level on the emotional conscious scale, which is boredom and satisfaction? So where do you fit? So it's a check-in is, where are you right now? Where is your thinking right now? What is your focus on right now? And write it down. Awareness of where you start from, the platform that you're at the moment, is a great place to move away from or move from, step forward. And then we got the body. And I think myself, when it comes to checking in with and tuning up the body, there is this dread of, oh, I've got to go exercise. And yes, I was a yoga instructor and I was an aerobic instructor before that. So in my adult life, physical exercise has been sort of like a little hobby that turned into a moneymaker. And yet, I'm now aware that for the last 15 months, I haven't even rolled out my yoga mat. I have not been in a yoga pose. I have no idea what that's about. I think it has to do with turning a new page, having a new outlook, and finding some different interests. However, now that I'm at a point where there's a lot of distance between me as a somewhat quasi part-time yoga instructor to me using what I learned physically to enhance what I'm doing. It is a personal practice, and it had not become a personal practice for me when I was doing it. It had become a public practice, somewhat of a thing I needed to do. So, tuning up the physical body, what can you physically do? And the one thing that I think is where we start is, what are we consuming? And here's the connection between those two: the thinking, the thoughts, clear mindedness, healthy mindedness, what's going into our head, what's occupying our focus, then relates to what we put in our body, what we fuel the body with. So, someone who's happy, balanced, meditates, clear minded, is going to likely choose the foods that connect with that. Plant based or healthier choices or those kind of things, as opposed to a person who is having fearful thoughts or dread thoughts or awkward thoughts or anxious thoughts, might choose the comfort foods that may not necessarily be the healthiest. So these are the connections we make. So just like where you start off on your journaling, where's my thinking today? What will I feed myself today? And what's feeding it? Myself, I can find the connection whenever I am looking for wanting junk food, particularly French fries. And Wendy's are amazing. But then I have to look at, wow, where's this coming from? There's a fear connected to this because I want to soothe it. Interesting. For some it's chocolate. For some it's sodas. I mean, it's just an interesting connection. So once you realize where you're thinking of that, now you realize, okay, what am I going to feed my body? Then there comes this spirit, healthy spirit. What's a healthy spirit? Your connection to and with the source energy that put you here. Are you checking in with the energy that you believe is God? Are you checking in with the energy that you believe brings and manifests things for you? Are you checking in with the universe? Are you grateful for the angels that are around, the spirits that are around? Are you on your daily spiritual practice? Now, adopting new habits means releasing and intending to let go of old habits. But old habits are sort of like pre-wired in. They want to find the same neural pathways. So to consciously and intentionally take up new neural pathways can't happen in an instant. It takes probably 60 to 90 days to adopt it. It starts with the power of 3. Do something repeatedly 3 times for 3 hours, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, and it becomes locked in, tuned in, which is why when we're affirming something, you affirm something 3 times, which could be, I am love, I am love, I am love, I am kindness, or I am open and receptive to the goodness and abundance of the universe. You say that 3 times. I am the keeper of my mind and my body. Wherever love is, fear is a stranger. You say that 3 times. I'm a star. A star is a heavenly body radiating light. I'm a heavenly body radiating light. I'm a star. You say that 3 times. These are all connecting with the power of 3 and doing daily spiritual practice. And the daily spiritual practice for me starts the minute I get going for the day. The first thoughts, the first part of it, the first things I'm doing before anything else happens. And typically I've usually got a pile of canines on the bed. I haven't forgotten to explain about this. And it's glorious. They're waking up, I'm waking up, and there's this, you know, feeling from them and from me that we're all here and we get to start a day. And I get this sense in the morning, first thing, that there's just a lot of gratitude. They're grateful, I'm grateful. And just looking at them, stretching and yawning, and how they have bonded and how they've connected with each other and me for that matter. And then we get up and go about our day, and I come in and do this. Um, Let me explain this a little bit. So, what does this even mean? Well, a good friend of mine bought this for me, and I love it. I don't wear it often because I don't want it to wear out, because I'm like, oh, it's such a perfect t-shirt. But uh, I didn't wear a button down because I'm taking my youngest, who is 116 pounds, to the vets today. He's going to be neutered. Not sure what to say, think, or do about that, but still, it needs to be done. And I thought, well, I don't really want to dress up and then undress and then get into all. So I thought I'll put this t-shirt on, and hopefully it'll be presentable for whoever out there is watching it. All right, so let's get to Journey to the Heart, like this, and see what today's message is. We are at the 9th of November, a meditative journey. I'm always amazed at how the cards and the message and this book all line up. So, there's no there's no accidents. Go deeper into the forest, walk among the trees, down the winding dirt path, strewn with rocks and wood chips. See the salamander dart across the path. Listen to the birds chirp. Hear the rustling in the bushes. Walk down the path until you come to a quiet pond. Sit for a while, rest. When you're ready, walk to the edge of the pond. Look down into the still waters. What do you see? At first, just water. Then gradually, a reflection emerges. It's you. It is your life. Gaze peacefully into the water, into the reflection of your life. See that it has just been as it should be, a lifetime of events, causing ripples of love, peace, and healing to the universe. See that it is now just as it should be. The people who are gathered around you are there for a reason. The places you have visited were not without purpose. The lessons you've learned are yours forever. You're right there where you need to be. Gaze into your reflection in the quiet, deep mirror of the pond until you see that, know that, feel that. Gaze long enough to see the truth, peace, contentment, divine order. Sit down and again look around the forest. Take in its beauty, its wonder, its shimmering emerald leaves, the tiny white wildflowers cropping up everywhere. Delicate surprises that bring you joy. Inhale the smells, the fresh growth, the musk, the smell of cedar and pine. Inhale, breathe deeply until the breath of life fills you with wonder. Let it flow throughout you. Let it saturate every cell. Peace, contentment, divine order. You are safe. The forest is your friend. It tells you that all is well. Look around. See the tallest tree. See that it has weathered every storm. And millimeter by millimeter, ring by ring, continue its growth over the centuries. Know that you have grown that way too. Rise slowly. When it's time, find your path. Feel the earth beneath your feet, supporting you, giving you strength, filling you with grounded energy. Walk down the winding path, through the glimmers of sunlight, until you reach the edge of the forest. Now you are in the light. Say goodbye to the woods. Say goodbye to this time of deep contemplation and reflection on all you have seen, all you have been, all you are. Go in peace. Go in contentment. Go now into the light of your life. So, Gosh, I've got goosebumps all over me. All the hairs on my arms are standing up. Wow, that's very much like connecting with spirit and soul, by getting clear on all that you are, all that you have become. And there are two ways to look at that. You become something brilliant, something magnificent, something phenomenal, something incredible, from two pieces of DNA at the beginning of your physical life into now who you are. And yes, we can look back. We can look back with some regrets. We can look back with some remorse. We can look back with, I don't know what, some awkward moments. However, every single one of them, every single detail of them has taught something, has presented something. And from all that may have seemed challenging, not quite right, off center, something else has come from it that has strengthened, galvanized, increased, encouraged. So when we come up against this space that didn't feel quite right, there's the indication that it isn't, and that you're not on your pathway. And that lesson alone puts you right back on the pathway. This soul path connection that I had no idea of starting 30 years ago just came to a name, got a domain, and off we went with it. I didn't know what was going to happen to it. And yes, in the beginning, I had these now intentions. It was just premature. Yes, I could have pursued it, could have gone from it, could have worked through it. But these were the 90s and then the 2000s. And people weren't really interested in it. There wasn't enough lining up, balancing out, twisting and turning, until now, when we find ourselves at this junction box of the unknown of what life is going to be and the truth of what life really is. I am a believer, I don't expect you to believe it, that part of chaos, part of the breaking down, part of the thunderous social collapse of top-down types of organizations are here for a reason. The folks who have been downtrodden, marginalized, mistreated, judged, all of those things, whether they are conscious or unconscious, held back, whatever that is, whatever you look at it, are saying, no, thank you, we're not up for that. You have to do better. There, 2-3 years ago, these talks on climate change were quite something. Now, leaders are demanding something be done. Is it a little late? I don't know. Mother Earth, the environment, the world, if you look at it in a spiritual sense, Mother Earth has survived all kinds of things, always, and just as you and I have at our soul level, our spirit level. So if today's message helps you to line up with doing a tune-up, what's in your thought process, what's in your body functioning process, and what's your connection to spirit, and do they all line up beautifully? That is full alignment of the brilliance of who you are and the brilliance of what you can become. And on that note, I'll say bye.